Vampires, right? It's floor time. You may be looking for new ways to add dark themes into your D&D games. Well, may I offer you an egg in this trying time? And by egg, I mean grim dark fantasy setting for D&D that is also our sponsor for this video. They had a Kickstarter a little while back, if you remember that, and hey, now the book is being shipped. Right now is the last chance to pre-order and get the first run of the book. If you like dark fantasy, like Dark Souls, Dragon Age, Witcher, etc., you're going to want to check out Grim Hollow, a campaign setting for 5e D&D. We're talking rules on transforming into vampires, liches, and even fiends. There's new spells like Greater Animate Dead, Mirror Spell, and Holy Word. Or how about the world of Itharis and its intricate lore, and pre-written adventures to be had, and tips for DMs on running dark fantasy. There's new monsters like the Body Snatcher, Dream Whisperer, or Herald of Calamity. Holy crap, these things look awesome! Not to mention the art in this book is incredible. At around 300 pages, there's tons of new things to add into your games. There's even variant rules for mechanics to make your games more difficult and hard to survive, like bleeding or concentrating on spells. Grim Hollow is a perfect book for you if you want to set your players off into terrifying lands of darkness. Or if you're a player, you can totally use the new advanced backgrounds, spells, or talents, which are little quirks that your characters can have. There's a link down below if you'd like to pre-order this awesome book. What am I supposed to do with this egg now? Okay, so vampires are super dumb. Not all vampires. Some of them, yes. Now, I'm not just gonna lay here and crap all over Twilight because it's overdone. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that edgy vampires are silly. I'm not gonna pull up a list of YouTubers and tell you why they're all idiots. I'm just gonna Kobe my hot take into the world, rest in peace, and maybe you'll listen to my advice. Vampires in D&D are really, really lame. Their stat block, whack. Their abilities, whack. Their weaknesses, whack. The way the player characters can kill them on the second round of initiative after all the buildup behind a vampire because they know how to beat it, whack. But I don't want to have a vampire villain in my game. I'll just beef up its hit points and armor class, give it power word kill, and it'll be strong. Come on, Jacob. I just watched Castlevania, and I want to have that guy in my D&D game. Okay, jeez, I'll bring up some ideas on how you can make vampires cool. Gosh, you don't have to yell so loud. Vampires have been around for forever, basically. Jesus was a vampire. Basically, there's so many iterations of Dracula that everyone and their mother knows what a vampire is. And that's kind of the simple truth behind it, is that your players are going to know what a vampire is over a Sahuagin or a Remoraz. What are those? Fish people. You can throw one of those guys into your D&D games and your players are going to wonder like, whoa, what is this? What does it do? Where does it live? What does it eat? Is it me? Help. But as soon as you go neck marks, drained blood, gnarled trees, fog, your players are like, oh, it's a vampire. Let's go get some holy water and some steaks. Make sure they're rare so that he'll be distracted by all the beef juices, and lock ourselves in our house so that we won't get murdered by that guy. Vampires are cool because of their fear and mystique. Take Strahd, for example. Everybody knows Strahd's a vampire. The NPCs, the players, it's very well known he's a vampire. But Strahd is so much more than that. He's an immortal wizard god that has defeated clerics, dragons, and almost everything in the known world that his power is immeasurable. He just also happens to be a vampire. That's the curse that the Shadowfell dark powers gave him. I talk about it more in this video. My point is that if you want your vampires to be cool, they need to be secret. Your players will look back at that point in time and be like, ah, yes, the emo phase of our campaign, where everything was weird and dark and bloody, and Batman is here? In comparison to something unexpected like a necromancer, a baron, or a crazy guy wandering the streets of Waterdeep. Nobody's gonna expect him to be a vampire. You shouldn't go out of your way to create a game that surrounds itself around a vampire. They're far too weak, your players know what they are, and they'll be easily defeated and kind of the laughing stock of the campaign. They won't be as interesting as you think they are. But if you take your game that you have now, or something that you've previously written, you can transform one of your NPCs or villains into a vampire and then add subtle hints that they are in fact the blood-sucking evil creatures that you want them to be. The payoff and terror your players will have when they confront some evil NPC that they think is the root of all their problems, to go into combat and realize that he can charm people and suck their blood, will blow their minds. And you should really leave hints that they're a vampire, but don't be too obvious about it. Maybe there's a lot of shade as to where this vampire lives. There's no water nearby. Perhaps they go about some clever way in order to get invitations into other people's homes. Maybe via a party, or maybe perhaps some strange law in the nearby lands. NPCs can still be turned into vampire spawn, but still go about their daily lives. They don't have to be creepy, I'm gonna eat you. They can just be people that are undead and being controlled by the vampire to go about normal activities. Your vampire can play The Sims because they want to keep their dark secret a secret. Have you ever heard of Matthew Mercer? The Briarwood arc in the Vox Machina days is such a good portion of that game, and I highly recommend it to see how he runs vampires and how secretive he was with them, and how he eventually kind of turned it on to the players, and how he took that idea of them and made them into really interesting villains. And really, you can apply this to any creature or villain in Dungeons & Dragons. I'm using vampires as an example because they're very well known, they have lots of exploits, a lot of weaknesses, and also I needed something for Grim Hollow. So yeah, I don't think you should just stop using vampires altogether. I think you should just stop telling your players who the vampires are. Their power is in their secretiveness because everybody knows what they are. So once they come up, then your players will have a lot of fun going, oh, I know what this is, and this is super cool, and you're really smart, and I love this game. That they'll say that. They'll actually say that to you, to your face. It'll be awesome. Trust me, it'll happen. Anyways, have fun in your D&D games. Hope you guys are staying safe. And let's close out with some footage that you can use in order to meme me. But go to my Discord and give me memes. There, that's a thing. I'm gonna regret that.